Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of our award-winning show, The Bill Crane Report. I'm here with my good friend Dwayne Weiss, once again, to give you our unique and well thought out and researched opinions about the problems of the day.
And there are many of them.
And there are many, is right. So, before we do start though, I'd like to have a shout out, if you will, to our old friend Marsha Johnston,
Yep. Okay.
who has been a little ill here of late and went to the hospital, but she is now in rehab at the Maples, and we wish her all the best. And I'm sure that those of you that know Marsha will keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And by the way, on the 27th of August, Marsha will have a happy birthday. And it's very ungentlemanly of me to mention the
Her
fact
age?
that she's going to be 93, so I won't mention it.
Well, Marcia, that's an accomplishment.
It sure is.
Congratulations, happy birthday, and I hope you feel better.
That's it. Beautiful. All right. So, where do we start? But there was a couple of things that hit the news this morning that I feel should be moved right to the front of the line.
Okay, and you know that, I got a sports question for you.
Okay? Two Navy sailors.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah, yesterday. I got my Alexa's hooked into the news. Whenever anything breaks, either on Fox or CNN, she breaks in and tells me she's got some breaking news. Then she gives me the headlines. Do I want to hear it? I say yes or no.
Oh, wow. Well, folks, two Navy sailors have been accused of spying for China,
Yep.
selling secrets. One of them was stationed at San Diego as part of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, and they say, aboard the USS Essex, by the way, and he said he sold secrets to China for $15,000.
Yep.
Now, what China's interested in is radar emplacements on Okinawa,
Of course.
and also other pertinent informations. And then there's another fellow who is accused of selling information about secret plans and how we react if there is
That's right.
a possible attack, or if there's an escalation in relations, how will we act going forward? So that's quite a story.
They're
And-
both Chinese,
That's exactly what I was going to say next.
and they're both naturalized citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think one did not need to be naturalized.
Okay,
He was
all right.
born in this country of Chinese extraction, and the other one is naturalized. The commentator this morning on Fox News said, this nation, now by the way, he's their authority on the Far East in China
Okay.
and all that stuff. He's on all the time. He said, this country has got to have a discussion, as awkward and as painful as it's going to be, about Chinese Americans and what we expect of them and what we do not expect of them and will not tolerate of them. And he said, this is going to be painful and hurtful to have this conversation.
I'm sure it will.
But we better have it. So What do you what's your spin on this?
Well, see, I see Chinese and Chinese extraction, and Chinese loyalties as two-tiered. You got Chinese as Chinese, but to China, and you got the Chinese Communist Party group, and they're totally different.
Oh, sure.
I think the Chinese people that are here for reason to improve their life mostly are good citizens and hardworking people. There's always going to be some that are looking to better themselves through that Chinese Communist Party, whether it be technological advice or information, or it could be anything. So I don't see it. It's going to be have to be a frank conversation, but I think they're capable of understanding that. It's not like some minorities in this. Boy, they're so edgy that you can't talk to them about anything.
Mm-hmm. I think. Now, I've had two very good friends, Chinese American. I've worked with them, and they're great guys. They're just like you and I.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's not a good example, but they're good guys. They're just regular Americans. Okay. What I'm concerned with is the students that are over here.
That is a good point. Why are we educating somebody that's going to turn around and use this information against us at some point? That does not make any sense on many different levels. First of all, just the fact that you're setting up a security risk. But number two, you're taking that seat away from somebody here. For what?
Money.
That's exactly. I was just going to say it's financial, but
Of course it is.
But as common sense, it doesn't make any sense.
It does not make any sense. I mean, this is like feeding, it's like a boxing match where you feed your opponent vitamins.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
I mean, come on, give me a break here. This is wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'm not altogether sure in this day and age we should allow Chinese students to study over here. Now I know that takes me to the far extreme right of 90% of the people, and I realize I'm probably throwing the baby out with the dishwater.
I think it should be looked at. I don't disagree with you totally.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a second question. So we have these two guys, and we apparently have them dead to rights.
Yeah, this is not just this just didn't show up a couple of days ago. They've been aware of this for a long time.
I would say this. I would give them a choice of punishment. You can take 2 in the hat, or you can spend the rest of your life in Guantanamo Bay. Which would you prefer?
Yeah, I don't know.
And by the way, that's another subject too. This business about, well, you know, it's Cuban territory and we seized it. That's our territory. We leased it for 99 years. And I'll bet you we pay the payments on it right on time every time. And it plays an important role for us. And
That's a whole other subject we got to get into at some point.
yeah,
What do we do with Cuba? We've mishandled it so bad for so many years.
you know what? Next time, we're going to lead off with what do we do with Cuba?
Yep.
What do we do with Haiti? Because Haiti right now is like the old West.
Yep, it is. It's
The
controlled
mobs
by
have taken over.
gangs have run it. The
Yep.
gangs own it.
And there was a big article in the Wall Street Journal about it. What are our options in Haiti? And you know what they came down with? A big zero.
Yeah,
It's like the tar baby.
yeah.
Boy, if we put our hand on it, we're going to be stuck to it forever. So if we decide to do something, we better do it right the first time, and also understand we got to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next time. That'll be good.
That's good because
Now-
I got some views on Cuba that would Cubans aren't going to. Cuban Americans won't agree with it, but we got to do something because
Yeah. Oh,
if
absolutely.
not, we're going to have little China sitting there.
Do you know? I guess oh boy, Obama would be mad at me, and then the far left would
If
be
I'm not
mad
mistaken,
at
he's
me.
mad at you already.
Yeah. There's a little bit of colonialism in this lad. We should have kept Cuba.
Yeah.
And for us to be returning it, I mean, that Cuba could have been the crown jewel in the U.S. What a vacation getaway. The Cubans would have been rich.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the resorts, the racetracks, nightclubs.
You know who screwed that up? Organized crime.
Yeah.
That's what got us kicked out of there.
It
But
was,
today, that's controllable.
yeah.
In those days, it was not.
Yeah. Well, it's like Haiti now. How the heck are we going to do that? But you know what? If we are our brother's keeper, and Haiti is right off our shores, and it is the worst country for poverty in the world,
Yep.
don't we? And they're calling out for help. Seems to me that we need to do something,
I
even
think,
if it's wrong.
I think we got a lot of moral justification of
Yeah.
interfering in Haiti.
Yeah. All right, that's good. We'll do that. I'll deputize you
Well,
to
thank you.
do a little research on our involvement in Haiti, because we occupied Haiti in the 1930s.
Yes, we did.
The U.S. Marine Corps and the old people in Cuba, Haiti,
Haiti.
pray for a return
Return, yeah.
of the U.S. Marines.
Well, they can't live like they're living now.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
This is, the mayor of Chicago. The teens ran wild out in Chicago, and riots and all that. And he got very upset with the news media. Those were not mobs. Those were gatherings.
next thing there'll be prayer sessions.
Yeah, and they weren't criminals. They're our children.
They might be your children, but they're still criminals.
Yeah, packing guns
Yeah.
and shooting each other and breaking into stores and looting. They're not mobs. They're
No.
gatherings. I mean, did he fall on his head when he was young?
One would think so.
Yeah.
That line of thinking is, well, you know that line of thinking is it's just plain bull. All it is it's just it's excusing something.
It's I want to be reelected.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to it is that I don't want to relinquish the power.
That's right.
That's all it
Yeah.
is.
That's exactly right. I suppose we ought to take a quick look at the polls this morning that we just released. CNN. Now, that's not a conservative outfit.
No.
That's a far liberal outfit. Their poll released yesterday, Biden's approval level 37%,
That's pretty much what most of them are showing.
disapproval 63. Biden's handling of the economy, disapproval, 70%.
Yeah.
Now, what?
That's pretty close to what all the other
Yeah.
the academic polls. What do they do? They're pretty much all in the same group.
And so, are the Democrats going to allow him to go forward and run for re-election?
You know, that's a $64,000 question. Because now, assuming that a year from now, or 24, that he's capable, physically or mentally, you know, at this stage of the game, and the pressures that the office has, he could have a stroke tomorrow, and the whole thing would change.
Fall down,
Break
break something.
That's right. And we things could change like that.
Of course. But that brings up a point, though, Dwayne. Don't they have to make that decision pretty darn quick?
Yeah.
Because if they go into 2024, they can't decide in March to pull the rug out from under them.
No, you're right. The wheels got to be in motion now.
Yeah.
But
They don't have a deep bench of players.
they have some very good people, but the people that are good are not the, hey, look at me, I'm jumping in front of every camera and I'm a household name. Those people are usually the shallow individuals. Just like one time years ago, and I think it's true, I read something about the Catholic Church and their hierarchy. It said that the real good priests or bishops are the ones you never heard of. The guys with a name, they're politicians. They're always getting their name out there, and they're the ones that get promoted to the bishop and the archbishop.
They're standing in front when the photos are taken.
Exactly. They said they're not the pious ones.
Yeah.
They're the ones that want the publicity, and I think that is that's very true in politics too.
Yeah. Oh,
That-
yeah.
We're not seeing the creme de la creme on the daily news. Those guys are out there to, hey, look at me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there was a joke going around 20 or 25 years ago that you never, ever want to get between John Kerry and a camera.
And a camera, that's
Yeah.
right.
And
Or a new Purple Heart.
yeah, right. Or, yeah, and there was also the joke, you know, if you had a dead frog on the street in front of your house, and you were going to call in the newspaper to take a picture of it, Kerry would be right there with the frog.
Oh yeah, trying to give it CPR.
Well, he wouldn't touch it, but he'd have somebody
One
helping
of his
the
staff would
frog.
do it,
Yeah. Oh, jeepers. Well, you know what? I wasn't going to talk about this until later on as a filler, but you've opened the door here a little bit. A July 21st poll by Gallup
Yep.
show that of U.S. residents, 74% believe in God.
Okay.
69% believe in angels.
Okay.
59% believe in hell.
Yeah, I guess I
Fif-
thought a little high, but
58% believe in the devil. Not worshiping the devil. They
Yeah,
believe in
there
the
is a-
existence of the devil.
an evil spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they did a similar poll 20 years ago, and they dusted it off and did it again. In the poll 20 years ago, we have a 16% drop in the belief in God.
Yeah. See, now that kind of surprises me. I thought it would be higher.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a 12% drop in the belief there is a hell.
Well, I don't doubt there's a drop.
Yeah.
It's just
And then there's a 10% drop about angels and the devil. So, what are we to make of those numbers? Are we just, where does religion fit in modern day life? How has it lost its relevance to many people?
well, religion is something that you can't really grab a hold of. Now, I consider myself to be religious, but I'm not organized religious. When you came to ask me about angels and devils and that, I kind of, maybe not. I'm probably an agnostic there. But
Do you know, I have never, ever considered even thinking about angels.
to me, that was something with wings and flying around and that.
But I guess there is. I've had events in my life when there was a guardian angel sitting on my shoulder. I swear to you.
Yeah, or else it could be.
I think, but I understand what you're saying, and I think there's a lot of people that feel the same as you. And I hate to say this, but there's people that work hard all week and say, I want to play golf on Sunday. I'll think about God while I do it, but I want to play golf. Or there's family constraints. You know, like Jackie's got Little League Baseball, and Mary Lou has a ballet recital, and there's just too much to cram in the weekend, so we're going to skip Mass this week. I think a lot of it is the hustle and bustle and complexity of modern day life.
Yeah, people don't see religious experience anymore, or do something to where they used to. And see, now you brought up a point about I could go. I don't fish anymore, but I used to. Say on a Sunday morning, and get out on the lake on a boat, and it's calm, and there's a couple of loons out going and stuff. And I thought, now this is a religious experience. This is what creation was. This was what it really was. I would get more out of that than sitting in church saying, God, it's hot in here. I wish he'd hurry up. Let's go. My butt hurts, or, I'm hungry. To me, by definition, that the church part was a religious experience, and the sitting out on the lake wasn't. But to me, it was the opposite.
Yeah, I can tell you that I agree with your feelings. I've been up in Maine, northern Maine, far northern Maine, the wilderness. I walked in the woods at night
Yep.
and looked up, and you see millions of
Yeah,
stars.
that too. I've done that when I was younger.
And I have said to myself, I'm sitting here, seeing this light show. I'm as close to God as I'm going to be in this existence.
And the magnitude of it's unimaginable.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
And the Northern Lights.
yeah. I've only seen that once.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid
That's
here
early
in
too.
Norfolk.
Yep.
But I've seen it in Maine.
Okay.
And it was pretty good, except it was predominantly green. There was only
That's what-
one other color in there, was kind
The
of
one I
washed
saw
out.
one time was in cold November, and it was mostly green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But taking a long walk in the woods and seeing nature and being part of nature and seeing what God has created, for me, I'm as close to Him as I can be, I think.
Yep.
But anyway, so
Polls, your
yeah,
approval polls and stuff, I think those what you got there are pretty much universal right now.
yeah, yeah, and what happens here if one generation slips up and does not say to the kids, you're going to mass every Sunday, or you're going to church every Sunday, and make it part of your family life. If we miss that one generation, kabongo, it's straight down, because those kids, when they marry, are going to do that also. So it's like, like Mrs. O'Leary, the Irish lady, or Pasquantonio, the Italian mother, clobbers you on the side of the head and says you're going to church every Sunday.
And
if that doesn't happen,
what on the religious aspect, the decrease that's here is even higher in some European countries that had been very religious.
Germany,
Italy,
yeah,
Spain. There are pockets where there's still
yeah,
rabid Christians or rabid religious, but there's so much of the general population, particularly the younger population, has dropped even more than our population.
These
has.
numbers coincide with the debate and the struggle in this country over abortion. How much of this drop can you say to yourself, if it weren't for this big struggle with abortion, there might not be a drop?
That might have something to do with it in certain aspects, I think.
Listen, you talk to some folks, and they can be as rabid about that subject as any other subject you care to address.
Even if it doesn't have anything to do with them at all. Yeah, but they're right. And some of it doesn't make any sense. Their logic is just completely flip-flopped.
We talked about this on the show some time ago, but we now have birth control pills on the shelf in drugstores that can be sold by the druggist, by a certified druggist. It seems to me that if we educate the populace as to the effectiveness of birth control pills, we can do away with a lot of the rhetoric about and the tragedy of
you mean with abortion?
Abortion.
Oh, I think that'll decrease the abortion rate a lot.
Yeah.
But it was always this restriction to other forms of birth control that would end up with a pregnancy, which they didn't want.
Yeah.
But you're right.
It's preventive medicine.
Yep. And I think the Catholic Church has to come around.
That's right. The Catholic Church has to.
On contraceptives.
But you know what? I believe that it's coming. I really do. It's going to come.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Catholic Church is going to lose even more of its relevance.
Yeah, they're going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we solved all that problem, though.
And these guys go to school, to theological school for years.
What a waste of time and money.
Boy. All right, I guess we need, before we get into the stuff we plan to talk about.
Are you kidding me?
What do you think about the fiasco taking place about President Trump's problems? This is going to be with us forever, I think.
I think if 20% of it's true, he should be in prison. Period. There's just no excuse for doing that kind of stuff. There's no excuse for having classified documents and bragging about them. There's no excuse for this. You may be Donald Trump, you may be a billionaire, you may be not a billionaire, but you're trying to impress everybody that you are. That does not give you right to do the stuff that you've done.
He really and truly believes
Oh, I think he does too.
that you and I and Andrew and people like us exist on this plane.
Yeah.
He is up here on another plane.
Look at the kid from Rehoboth or wherever the hell he's from, the Air Force
Yeah.
National Guard kid. Where's he today?
He's out on parole.
Well, where was he?
I mean, out on bail.
Yeah, but he been looking through bars for
Yeah.
a long time.
Sometime, yeah.
Yeah, and he did a lot less than Donald Trump has potential to do.
Again, you know,
Yeah.
he is, and to some degree, he is up there on a different plane. Than
Well,
us.
he's got so many people for him, but underneath him.
But so's Chuck Schumer,
Yeah, but
and so is Granny Warren.
the problem is, and I don't know why nobody can actually explain this. Donald Trump has turned into a cult. He's got his followers. I heard of somebody ask a question with the mega Trumpers. What would Donald Trump have to do before they said, "Wow, he's a bad man"? Where would he do? Would he have to stomp on puppies on TV? Would he be drawing kittens, starving old ladies? Where's the line where they say
They would-
enough's enough?
They would rationalize that behavior by saying they deserved killing.
Yeah, or they're probably going to grow up and have
Destroyed.
rabies and bite
Yeah,
people. You know,
yeah. I'm not sure, but it is cult-like,
yeah, it is cult-like.
Yeah.
It's very cult-like.
and those people have got a full sniff of glue. Let me tell you.
What do you think would happen? These are terrible what ifs, but if somebody like Donald Trump stood up there and said, you remember, what was it, Guyana with the Kool-Aid and was it Jones? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Got him a drink. If he had a 10,000 people there and he says, I want everybody to come up and drink the Kool-Aid, how many do you think would do it? I think there'd quite a few would go up and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not as many as done to at Guyana, but there would
No,
be some.
but there would be
go
some
up.
that would do it
Yeah.
just because he told them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gone beyond rational.
Yeah. I think there's a dividing line, though, between him telling them what to think, and then there's a line, and the other side is him telling them what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it would stop over
Yeah,
here.
there's a two
But-
lines there.
But he listen. I'll tell you what, his followers hang on every word he says.
every word.
And it all goes up here in
They
the
all got a
noggin.
meaning for it too.
Yeah.
If he says this, well, he was really meaning this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
and here's the sad part about it. The guy is brilliant. I mean,
oh yeah.
he is aggressive. He's capable. He's a wonderful speaker. He can think on his feet. You can't run any hokum by him. And yet, he's deeply flawed also. And that is the pity of it all. And as such,
If
this is a drama that would challenge any tragedy written by Shakespeare.
you're right. And if it comes down to Biden and Trump again in the election, God help us.
God help us is right.
God help us. We may not survive as a republic.
You're absolutely right. I'm not sure what the outcome will be, but it'll be pure chaos.
Yep. Now, a scenario, say Biden wins. You know Donald's not going to accept that.
Well,
And
what
if
if
Donald's got a couple of generals that believe as Donald does, you may have fighting in the streets.
if Donald ever throws a switch
Oh yeah,
and says, "All right, we're going to do it by force,"
pack it up, folks. We're going to go hit the streets.
then we have got real problems.
We got some serious
This
problems.
now is going to look like a Sunday picnic. All the stuff that's leading up to it. You know?
Well, so far his threat did not come. He said, if I ever get indicted, you're going to see fighting in the streets like you've never seen. So far that was just
Yeah.
braggadocio on his
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, he's probably one of the smartest guys that's ever been involved in politics, and he's also probably one of the most dangerous guys.
That's a good point. That's very point.
Well, all right then. We'll have to leave that there as it unfolds, but we'll look at that
Yep.
on a regular basis coming up to the election. One of the things I enjoy is reading the Wall Street Journal. I learned something this morning. I mean, you almost you learn something every day reading the Wall Street Journal.
I learned something too.
Well, yeah.
Don't sneeze with a mouthful of Listerine.
Was that in the Wall Street Journal?
No, but it certainly was on my mirror.
Yeah, don't kick the cat's water dish
That's right.
either.
Oh, I used to. We would have had a cat. You'd get up and you'd forget the damn thing was there, and kick the water dish, and the food would fly all over. And you think he's a stupid fool. It's only been there for 3 years.
Yeah, no. I've only had cats for 40 years, 50 years. We had 2 kittens before we got married.
Yeah.
And my sisters took care of them while we were on the honeymoon. And so we've had cats all of our married life
Yeah. Oh yeah.
until the last one, Harvey, that couldn't stay in the yard and tried to stare down an F-150 out in the street. And
Harvey had
lost.
wanderlust.
Yeah, it was quick ending for Harvey. Bobby Shannon was standing there. Billy, I got some bad news for you. He says, "You got a big yellow cat?" Yeah. Had is the word, yeah. But this morning in there, we often hear the statistics of new home sales. And it's kind of a barometer of the economy, if you will. When new home sales are down,
Yeah.
but when they're up, we're going like hell.
Yeah.
Well,
When homes don't sell anymore or are difficult, then there's some problems in the economy.
Well, yeah. I never realized that new home sales meant new sales of homes. That 90% of the homes counted in new home sales are existing homes. This is not stick-built,
new. Yeah, okay.
brand new homes.
Well, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I never even thought about that.
and only 10% of the new homes are actually new homes
Well,
that no families ever lived in.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So now, knowing that, what the Fed is trying to do by cutting back on inflation is they are raising interest rates.
Of course.
But what they are doing is actually hurting new home sales
course.
because people you and I, are sitting on 3 or 3.25% 30-year mortgages, and the rates are now starting to tickle 8%. Now, I'm no great mathematician, but that's well over double what I'm paying. So people are very reluctant to give up that
Of course.
low interest rate, and they are staying in their homes.
Yep.
And now homes are at a premium on the market. The listings are falling off the cliff, and guess what?
Well, we've
That
had-
means no sales.
We've had that for
Yeah.
this part of the country's had that for quite a while.
Yeah, but that creates inflation. The inflation they're trying to stop, because the prices on the few homes
Are gonna
that
go
are go up.
Yep.
The market just forces them up. So this is the Fed doing one thing to lower inflation, but by doing it, they're causing inflation.
You always have that. Because if they raise the interest rates, that means your cost is everything's going to go up. Because somebody's got to borrow the money to do it back here, to this, to this, this. It's always going to go up. By that means that you don't have as much money. You want to raise from your boss or whoever you work for to cover the raise in the interest rate. So it's kind of a big wheel that goes around and around and around.
It's all interconnected. Yeah. And I had never really thought about it that way. So
That's what so many kids in college have trouble with economics because of those kind of theories. They never thought of things like that.
so many kids in college that get trouble tying their shoes.
Well, that's true too.
And boy, I'll tell you, the Wall Street Journal had a huge article on Gen Z. And Gen Z is about the most screwed up bunch of kids known to man. And with any kind of luck, we'll get to that article today.
Okay.
Now, Dwayne and I talked about what we were going to talk about on the show. And I said, let's make a list of people we don't like.
Oh, boy.
Despicable people. People that just,
We probably won't be able to leave here after this, but
right. Well, we may have to change the names to protect the innocent.
that's right.
Who have you got in first place, Dwayne?
Well, I kind of broke it down by trade groups,
Oh, okay.
occupation. Now I got to tell you, my choices are going to be based a lot different than Mr. Crane's choices are. I'm probably a whole lot more shallow than he is. I don't like some people just because I don't like them, not because of what they do.
There's some of those in mine, I'll tell you.
I got some that are just plain pompous asses.
There you go.
Entertainment.
Oh boy.
One of my top least liked guys is Howie Mandel.
Howie Mandel.
I have never seen a more arrogant, conceited, self-centered individual than he is. Now, see, that's only my opinion. And I back him up with Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Okay, that's my two from the entertainment.
All right.
You want me to keep going
Go,
here?
keep, let it roll, man.
All right. Now, let's go right to the politics. Top of the list, AOC. I cannot stand her. If Martians would come down and kidnap her and take her, I wouldn't feel bad.
But you know what? This is the truth. She is one hot-looking babe.
Well, I'm not giving that. I don't. That's
I
true.
find it hard to hate her.
Out of that legislative group,
Yeah. Well,
she's one of the probably three that you'd even consider. But so we just cheapen that up.
Yep.
So right on top of the list, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Obnoxious.
Squawk machine.
Yep. George Santos. By the way, what happened to him? He's not in the news anymore.
No, he said he's going to take a low key.
Okay. And bringing up the rear is E. Warren,
Granny.
Pocahontas. And these are not legislatures, but two guys that we could do without so easy. That's Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Two race baiters.
In the novels that you and I read, the ones by John Sanford have Lucas Davenport as the key guy. And in a couple of the novels, they've said at the end, Davenport, couldn't you have taken him alive? And Davenport says, there's just some people that need killing.
Yeah, that's right.
This is your group?
I think so. All right, now. Oh, I forgot a couple of them here.
Oh.
And, I guess they're not. These guys got put out of groups. Most all gangster rappers.
I have never heard a rapper that I liked.
Me neither. I mean, I don't understand the rap. I don't understand the attraction, and I admit I don't understand it. To me,
I don't even understand the language.
No, to me, it's putting people in entertainment venues that have no talent.
Obscene noise.
Yeah, it's what
is all it is.
It probably, you people that are into rap, fine, but
You're not going to be invited to the show.
yeah, well, you can, but we've talked about it. Another guy I cannot tolerate is Phil Swift in the commercials. He sounds so sleazy. Now, his product might be great, but why are you standing up there and looking like a huckster? It's the kind of product that, as seen on TV, maybe that just some of the stuff I guess really works.
I get Phil in here, I'll tell you. Patrick was telling me that he read on the internet of all the bogus stunts that Phil Swift does. You know, when you take these two pieces of metal and a drop of that stuff, and you can pick up a ton or something like that.
You can do that with any super.
He said that what they did was they put a mirror finish on both surfaces.
I read that same article.
Yeah.
And it has to be absolutely flat.
Yeah.
Where the surface of there's so much surface contact
Yep.
that it doesn't take much to actually do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it is the thing where he doctors up the house and then lets the flood go around him. That's absolutely absurd, because walls are not waterproof. It would come through the siding, it would come through the wood, everything else.
Yeah.
You can't
No,
seal
you
up a
can't
house
stop
like-
it.
And I'm surprised nobody has called him on that. But he does give a little out. You can't stop all the water all the time.
Yeah.
So that if he does get nailed on it, well, I said you can't stop it all the time. But he just looks like a huckster.
Oh,
And he sounds like
he's
a
on my list.
All right. Alex Jones, disgusting individual.
Alex Jones. Who's
Yeah,
he?
he does podcasts. He's the one that says, well, those kids did not get killed in Connecticut or the Texas one. That's all fake.
Yeah.
And another one, Joy Behu. I hated her ever since, for years and years and years, when she used to be on the radio. I didn't even know what she looked like. And
You know now.
once I saw her, I even like her less. All right, here's what. I never liked Tucker Carlson. He was weird from the day one. But the one local that I really don't like is James Brody from PBS.
Yep.
Egan and Brody, this woman that used to
Yeah.
they used to have a show in the morning.
I did.
He was so rude and so overriding her, and she took all his crap all the time. I'm saying to you, God, stand up for yourself there, Egan. You know, tell him to shut up.
He is, for you folks, let me help you a little bit. Who he's talking about is James Braude, Braude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was on with Marjorie Egan. And it was
years,
just an
too.
ultra-liberal PBS talk show, and which brings up another subject. PBS, government-sponsored television. Well, I'm telling you what, I don't want to sponsor it anymore because a lot of that stuff on there is just left-wing crap.
Well, I don't care what they're in politics, but what I care is that they take the funds and they pay exorbitant salaries and facilities and stuff far more than the spaghetti people, ABC, CBS, do. The highest salaries in that kind of business is from PBS people.
Do you know, what, we're down to what, 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Can you finish up your list?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Vladimir Putin, I don't know who the hell would like him
He's
anymore.
number one on my list.
He's just plain evil. And then last is just a group, all spineless politicians. If you are mad at somebody or you don't want it, tomorrow you're licking his shoes. Come on, either you one way or another, stay that way.
Do you know that
I don't care which way you are, but don't
if
change sides all the
if I
time.
had an idea for a television talk show, and we threw our names into a computer, you and I couldn't agree more. I'll tell you. Now, Dwayne made this list by himself. We do this all the time. We don't compare notes and say, well, okay, well, you call this guy and I'll call this guy.
We don't know what the other guy's doing until
No.
we get here. Right?
And it's fun that way. But let me tell you, I'd like to talk about some of these people. But Dwayne and I have got a lot of the same people. I get more words. That's about it. But I would like to talk about just one thing, and that is what PBS pays people. This is not PBS, but it's right up that same alley. Karine Jean-Pierre, the presidential spokeslady
Okay.
that we see all the time. She has a net worth
$5 billion.
of $14 million.
Right in your neighborhood.
Salary that she earns, non-government salary, she earns about $1 million a year.
Okay.
She was born in 1974. She's 49 years old. She has a villa in California valued at $3 million. A flat in Washington valued at $1 million. A villa in Denver at $2 million. And a mansion in Wisconsin at $5 million.
That's right next to me.
Yeah. Her government salary is $185,000
Yeah.
for being the front man. She gets a travel allowance, and she gets a house rent allowance to live in Washington. She gets subsidized electricity and 24-hour security, and then there's a bag full of small stuff.
Yep.
She recently bought a new Jaguar for $145,000. She owns a Bentley, a Range Rover Sport, a Jaguar XE, and a Lexus ES. So there. What do you think of that?
I think she's doing all right by herself.
Yeah, she's gay. She's not she's very proud of that. She doesn't hide that, so we can talk about it. It's like, not like we're revealing something, but her companion is a talking head on CNN.
Okay.
She's doing quite well.
I would say so.
Yeah. So that's your list of people?
That's my list.
All right. I can tell you, I have this, the most despicable is Putin. He's directly or solely responsible for at least 75,000 deaths
Yeah, well,
in
that's
the Ukraine.
I didn't
Yeah.
bother saying why because that's pretty obvious.
I grouped together the squad,
Okay. Yeah, that,
AOC and the squad.
I couldn't remember that.
Yeah.
The other names. I would throw that into this. That what I had the Islamic one too. She's
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
know who you mean. I meant to write their names down here and I forgot.
Ivana
But the
Presley.
5 women who have seized control of our government and are ruining our country as they lead our witless president about as if he were on a leash.
2, William.
Elizabeth Warren, John Kerry, Ed Markey, Chuck Schumer, who fall in lockstep with the squad and are co-conspirators in this march to socialism. Then I have President Joe Biden, a directionless zombie. Al Sharpton, a hater and a liar.
Oh God.
He made the Scoundrels Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Phil Swift, the screaming, obnoxious pitchman for flex tape. Remind me never to buy any of that stuff. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, smug, arrogant member of the I'm Better Than You Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
And then I will, just enough time to squeeze this in before Andrew says, I got 1 minute. This is my masterpiece. There's an over-the-hill woman politician who is lurking in the shadows, cackling as she sticks pins in 2 dolls. One is Donald Trump and the other is Joe Biden. She's waiting patiently in the darkness, hiding in the mist, hoping with all her might the pins take their toll and that at that moment she can hop on her broom and fly in and seize the presidency she so covets.
Giggles.
Yes, say hello to Hillary Clinton.
Oh, I got the wrong one. I thought it was going to be Giggles Harris.
No. At this point in time, I think we have to call a halt to this, folks, and have a brief timeout for you to get a couple more cans of Miller High Life. We're boycotting Bud. That we'll talk about that story afterwards. But it's having a big effect on Anheuser-Busch. You can get something, maybe a little popcorn or maybe a little Jack Daniels.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
And we'll
See
be
you
back.
later.